at downtown adjacent Macon, Georgia. It's December 11th, 2012. It's 50 degrees outside with a high of 60 and a low of 43 degrees. We have Irvin J. Martinez, Making It Karaoke, Ed Einbinder, Anthony B. Harris.
Over there somewhere.
And our guest for today, Terrell Sandefur.
Yeah, baby. It's getting hotter in here.
Director of MAGA, the Macon Film Festival, and also the owner of the Sochi Gallery.
Yes, and we got a lot of questions to ask you, especially regarding two things.
Okay.
One, let's talk a little bit about MAGA.
Okay.
Okay.
You know, we're trying to get away from calling it MAGA and
Oh,
calling
good.
it Macon
That's
Film
good.
Festival, so people around the world will know what it is.
Right.
So you know, it's just easier to call it what it is. It's Macon Film Festival.
Got it.
And it is February 14th through 17th. It's just around the corner. We've finished our call for submissions. We've accepted everything that's going to be in. Filmmakers have already been notified. Anthony's one of them this year.
Yes. All right. Thank you very much.
And
congratulations.
we're really excited. I mean, we feel like it's going to be the best one yet. I mean, we feel like every year is better than the one before.
Right. And people are getting used to it, and you're getting more from way outside the state itself, right? I mean, you're all over the world, right?
Yeah, we get them from all over the world.
Wow. Now, what was the reason why MAGA did? Not to bring that up again. I know you want to get away from that, but what was the acronym standing for? I mean,
Macon, Georgia.
Okay. That's it.
Yeah.
That really doesn't.
It
say
doesn't
much.
say anything. It doesn't
Okay.
say anything.
No.
So, are you excited?
It worked with the drink, though.
Yeah. I mean,
It worked with the martini.
it definitely goes for our signature cocktail, which is infamous.
Well, I will keep the cocktail then.
No, we are.
Okay.
The Magatini is here to stay.
Okay, yeah, the Magatini.
It's actually one of the things that put us on the map, because we're the only film festival that I know of that actually has its own signature cocktail that we serve at every one of our after parties.
That's quite
and
original.
They're kick your ass to the curb.
Hey, give a guy a drink and they'll love you to death.
Yeah.
Wow, Earl Big Skillet Jackson, Magatini. Okay, how you doing, Earl? That's one of my old college buddies from UGA. Ear Big Skillet Jackson. I guess he forgot. He forgot to take the. Well, his Facebook name is Earl Big Skillet Jackson. He was a college buddy of mine back at UGA. So thanks for chiming in and chatting, going to the chat room. Thanks for watching us.
I got a question.
Anthony, yes.
Stay with the Macon Film Festival. And a couple of friends of mine wanted me to ask this. That's why I'm asking it.
Okay.
And I've always questioned, of course, too. Are you on the picking board of the films, or are you on the screening? What's it called? The judges that screen the movies.
We've got.
How many people are there?
It's a community. It's a community thing. So we invite. There are a few people from the board that are there.
Right.
And we're not. I mean, like I went to most of the screenings. I mean, we start in the summer on a Saturday and do several hours of screening back to back. I missed two, but we've got a community board that comes in. Most of them don't have anything to do with the film festival.
Right.
They're just film lovers. So what happens is when a filmmaker submits, we watch everything in its entirety, and it's ranked on certain things, and then there is a tipping point where if they get over that scale, it goes on to the judging, which means it made it. If it gets under, it doesn't.
How many categories is it judged in? Is it judged in like writing, cinematography?
Basically three, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Which are the three?
It's the story. It is the way it looks and the acting.
Okay.
So I mean, if it's if it doesn't look so great, but the acting is really good and the story is really good, it'll get a higher ranking than if it's beautiful and there's nothing there.
Well,
Right.
I was about to ask you if there were certain categories for us like drama or comedy or
no, it's not
documentary.
There is in the festival, but for that screening process, no.
They kept it simple. Yeah.
Okay.
So do they put a limit on how many local films go in?
No.
Because there's a lot of question of that. Like a friend of mine, Neil Calabro, wanted me to ask this question because he had submitted a movie of his this year and it did get accepted. It was locally made, and that was one of the kind of I won't say problems I had, but kind of.
Did you see the film though?
Oh yeah, I've seen it before.
Well,
but my thing was, I always kind of thought a festival of any sort should always put their have a spot for their local stuff. I should say that because therefore you're of course recognizing your local talent to begin with also. And I was questioning whether there was maybe a limit where every year the board said, okay, we can only pick so many from this region that we'll set aside, or is it unlimited?
It's unlimited, and the way that these screenings, these initial screenings go, we don't run the credits,
right?
So nobody knows who.
You don't know.
They don't know where it's from, unless they recognize somebody in there. You know, that would be the only way they would know that it was a local film. Other than that, it's like I said, there's no credits that run in these screenings that we do to say to do the judging whether it makes it or not. Now, as far when the films that make it into the festival, those are not judged by us at all. Those are judged by film folks from around the country.
Wow.
And they judge categories. So if it's music video, let's say, that's one of our categories. There will be a judge or two, a juror or two that only judge that category.
Got it.
They're not looking. They're not
going to spill over into another category.
No. That way, that way you don't overload your jurors with watching many hours of film. It doesn't take too much away from their schedule. So it's a much better way.
Now, what's the longest time that a film could be in terms of length? Because I know a lot of these are short films, correct?
The majority are shorts, but we get features submitted as well. So
for those who are not so knowledgeable about the length, so what's the difference between a short film length and a feature?
A short is anything under an hour.
Under an hour, okay.
Okay. But I'll tell you, if you've got filmmakers out there that are trying to submit to festivals, the best accepted time, if you want to get in, the easiest for a programmer to program is 2 minutes. A 2-minute short will almost always make it into a festival. Because it's easy.
What could be said in 2 minutes?
It's easy to program. When you start doing 15 minutes and 48 seconds, well, it's still got to fit in a program. So if you can do 2 minutes flat, you'll almost always get in to whatever you submit it to. If it's not like if it's not atrocious. But
can you give away any hints of the guests this year? Y'all got any guests lined up already?
We're working on those right now. We haven't gotten any confirmations. The bad thing about our festival being in February is that it's during pilot season in Los Angeles. So they are always reluctant to commit too far in advance.
Yeah.
Because they might get. I mean, I was working on an actress last year who wanted to come, and her manager called me, before we put anything out to the press, thankfully, and said she couldn't come because she's up for 2 pilots. And it's Elaine Hendricks. I don't know if you know who she is. Yeah. She was in The Parent Trap. She was the bitchy girlfriend, beautiful blonde. Oh, she always plays bitches pretty much.
Yeah.
But she's somebody I modeled with back in the 80s or 90s. I can't remember. But she's got a really great career.
I know one year you had Karen Black on.
We've had Karen.
Yeah. And who else? Who else showed up?
I'll tell you, last year was a good example. We had gotten a confirmation on Ernest Borgnine.
Yes. Who's now deceased.
Who died, yes. But his folks had given me the confirmation that he would be there. And then he got sick, so they canceled. And we had already put it out to the press that he was one of our special guests. Wow. Which would have been great. It happens. I mean, people die, people get sick, people get jobs.
Yeah.
So we really try to hold off on putting anything out there publicly about who the special guests are as close to time of the festival as possible.
Okay, so do you have a secret guest coming on?
Really, I don't have anybody confirmed, which is not unusual.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll tell you that last January 20th, I booked 3 special guests that one day. That's January 20th. the festival was less than a month.
Less than a month.
But that's the way it happens. That's the way it happens.
Well, going from that, let's talk a little bit about the social gallery, which is back.
Let me get a chat. Let me get some chat replies here.
Okay.
It's not our chatters because they're on the film festival stuff here before we switch topics. It's Zen, and let's get Terrell's opinion on this. It isn't. He says or she says it isn't hard to get into a small festival, different than Cannes, Toronto, and Sundance. You agree with that, Terrell?
Well, I'll tell you. I think it is. I think it is hard to get in any festival. It totally depends on the programming of that particular festival.
And the judges.
Well, I think for this year, I mean, we've streamlined our process a little bit this year to have, so the festival experience for everybody can be better. And that means we are taking fewer films, or the time of the screening time is going to be a little bit less. So we're trying to have more, in previous years, these filmmakers come from all over the world.
Yeah.
And we had a hell of a lot of them come from Los Angeles last year. And some of these folks, their films were screening during our special screening, which is something we want everybody to be able to participate in. We pay money to bring these folks in. They're our special guests. We want all our filmmakers and our film festival goers to be able to go to that special screening, meet the guests, participate in the Q&A with them, learn something potentially. So we've streamlined a little bit more this year. So hopefully everybody will be able to participate in those special screenings.
Now you also get the business local business involved.
But saying that, it cuts down on the number of films we can take. And I shouldn't say the number of films, but the hours of films, which translates to the number of films.
Right.
Okay.
So
this is which one is coming up for? Is this
this will be our 8th?
Our 8th. Okay.
Yeah.
So 8 years ago, what made you want to start it? What was the concoction, the inspiration that made you want to?
I was brought on the first year after they had already started.
Okay.
What had happened was the Cox Capitol Theater downtown had been renovated, and Tony Long, whom I'm sure all of y'all know who he is, he is a downtown developer. He wanted to have a vehicle to get people to go into the theater. So that's how the film festival was born, for that mission. They brought me on the first year only to throw the after parties, to organize after parties. So I went in there the first year thinking that I was just going to do the after parties, and I ended up raising all the money to fund the whole festival.
Wow.
So my role from the beginning, when I walked in, got bigger than it was intended to be. And then I was the MC for that first festival too.
Now I remember when I was volunteering for the festival 2 years ago. This will be the 3rd year that I've seen this thing blossom. Really, you had the local area businesses involved, where they got discounts and that kind of stuff. You did that as well with the Otis Redding 70th.
Yeah.
Is that something that's going to be done this year?
Yes, yeah, it is. We bring all these people in to downtown for 4 days, and they spend money and enjoy the city, and we want them to. So we are going to be working with, just like we always have, the downtown vendors, restaurants, to offer some kind of discount if they've got their lanyard on.
Okay.
Encouraging them to go to their restaurant. And the people that own the restaurants and the bars especially love the festival because the film festival, unlike a lot of other things, people come in with money, and they know they're going to be there for 4 days, and they spend.
Yeah.
So, and they're not typically the low end entertainment kind of folks. So they wanted to. Instead of drinking beer, they'll drink liquor.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, their average spend is higher.
Wow.
So it benefits everybody. I mean, it benefits a lot of the folks in downtown for sure.
Let's talk about Social Gallery because I know.
One more thing. I got to get.
All right, go ahead. Get it out.
Okay. When we tried to do the Real Macon Film Festival last year, and of course it was strictly to show local stuff.
Right.
We wanted to get the local people noticed. personally, I'm not going to say what anybody else thought. I don't want you to answer for anybody else on the board. Did you think that was a good thing? I mean, what we were trying to do, or did you think that was counterproductive?
I think it's a good thing ultimately. Right. I mean, I do. I would love. I mean, one of our missions for the festival is to promote local filmmaking.
Right.
Right.
And it would be.
And there's not a way to fit that into a day or a block.
I'll tell you, we tried it. We tried it.
I remember the first year. The first year you tried like from noon to 2.
Yeah. And we did. It was. I don't even know what we called it. It wasn't locals only. It was something.
I remember because they showed my film that year.
Right.
In that block. It was something like it was on a Saturday. It was like noon to 2.
Right. The problem is that we did that the first year, and the filmmakers, for the majority, the local filmmakers would come only to see their film, and then they would leave, and they wouldn't come to any other part of the festival. Right. So it really didn't benefit us. If they had come saying, this is a great idea, this is a great experience, a great opportunity for us to network, rub shoulders with all these other filmmakers, learn something, go to the workshops, then we probably would have continued it. But it was they came to see their film and they left, and we never saw them again throughout the festival.
Wow.
So, and overall, I mean, we're not expecting the quality to be, world class, but it was just not